There's a type of person who walks into a room and every conversation pauses. Not because they're loud, not because they demand attention, but because something about their presence makes people uncomfortable in the best possible way. They carry what can only be described as a dangerous aura, an invisible force field that commands respect without asking for it, creates distance without being rude, and establishes dominance without lifting a finger. Most people will never develop this. They'll spend their lives chasing validation, explaining themselves, and wondering why nobody takes them seriously. But the ones who master the dangerous aura, they don't chase respect. Respect chases them. Fear respects them. Opportunity finds them. And people think twice before crossing them. This isn't about being cruel or violent. It's about developing a psychological presence so powerful that people instinctively understand you're not to be tested. Today, you're going to learn exactly how to build that aura using principles from dark psychology, Machiavellian strategy, and behavioral influence, tactics that most people will never know exist. Before we begin, subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel reveals the hidden rules of power, presence, and psychological dominance that separate those who command rooms from those who fade into the background. Introduction: the psychology of presence. The dangerous aura isn't mystical, it's psychological. It operates on ancient survival instincts hardwired into human biology. When our ancestors encountered predators, they didn't need to see teeth to know danger was near. They felt it. A shift in energy, an absence of familiar safety cues, a presence that triggered caution. The dangerous aura triggers those same instincts in modern social contexts. It's not about physical threat. It's about psychological unpredictability combined with absolute self-control. People sense that you're capable of things they can't predict, that you operate by rules they don't understand, and that testing you carries consequences they'd rather avoid. This aura is built through specific behavioral patterns, communication strategies, and psychological frameworks that signal dominance, mystery, and controlled power. Master these elements, and you'll never beg for respect again. Law 1. Strategic silence. The foundation of mystery. The power of withheld information. The first law of building a dangerous aura is understanding that mystery creates power. When people can fully read you, predict your reactions, and understand your motivations, they can manipulate you. But when significant parts of your inner world remain hidden, they're forced to guess, and humans always overestimate what they can't see. Strategic silence isn't about being shy or antisocial. It's about controlling information flow. You choose what to reveal, when to reveal it, and to whom. This creates an asymmetry where you know more about others than they know about you, and information asymmetry is power. Most people overshare. They explain their decisions, justify their choices, defend their actions, and voluntarily provide information that others can use against them. The dangerous aura develops in the opposite direction. Speak less, reveal less, explain less. Let your actions communicate more than your words ever could. Practical application. Stop posting every detail of your life on social media. Stop explaining your decisions to people who didn't ask. Stop filling uncomfortable silences with nervous chatter. When someone asks what you're working on, give fragments, not blueprints. When they probe your personal life, redirect with questions rather than answers. The less people know about your plans, your weaknesses, your fears, and your desires, the less leverage they have, and the more they wonder, the more powerful you become in their imagination. Law 2. Controlled movement, the language of dominance. Slowing down, your physical presence. Weak people move quickly. They fidget, they rush, they gesture frantically. They fill space with nervous energy because they're uncomfortable with themselves. These rapid movements signal anxiety, insecurity, and low social status. The dangerous aura moves differently, slower, deliberately, with purpose. Every gesture is intentional rather than reactive. This controlled movement signals confidence because only secure people can afford to move slowly. Predators stalk, prey scurries. Think about the most intimidating people you've encountered. Chances are, they didn't bounce around rooms or speak a mile a minute. They held stillness. They moved with economy of motion. Their physical presence had weight because it was controlled. The psychology of slow speech. This extends to how you speak. Fast talkers appear nervous and desperate for approval. Slow speakers appear confident and unconcerned with what others think. The dangerous aura speaks at a measured pace with strategic pauses that create tension. When you speak slowly, people lean in, they focus. They assume what you're saying must be important because you're not rushing to get it out. Your words carry more weight simply because you're not overproducing them. Practice reducing your physical and verbal speed by 30%. Walk slower, talk slower, breathe slower. This single adjustment will immediately make you appear more dangerous because it signals that you have nothing to prove and nowhere you need to rush. Law 3. Emotional discipline. Never let them see you react. The strategic advantage of composure. Nothing destroys a dangerous aura faster than visible emotional reactivity. When people can provoke you, make you angry, defensive, excited, or flustered, they control you. Your emotions become their leverage. The dangerous aura maintains emotional composure regardless of external pressure. This doesn't mean feeling nothing. It means your internal emotional state doesn't dictate your external behavior. You feel the storm but never show it. This creates the impression that you're either supremely confident or genuinely dangerous. Both interpretations work in your favor. Think about people in positions of real power. They don't explode when insulted. They don't visibly panic under pressure. They don't celebrate too enthusiastically when they win. Their emotional range appears narrow, not because they feel less, but because they control more. Training, emotional non-reactivity. This requires deliberate practice. Start with small provocations. When someone tries to bait you into an argument, pause. When you receive criticism, breathe before responding. When someone insults you, hold eye contact without changing your expression. The goal isn't suppression, it's separation. Your emotions inform you but don't control you. Anger becomes data about boundary violations rather than fuel for reaction. Excitement becomes motivation rather than visible enthusiasm that others can exploit. Master this, and you become unreadable. People can't predict your responses, can't manipulate your feelings, and can't use your emotions against you. That unpredictability is essential to the dangerous aura. Law 4. Calculated unpredictability. Breaking patterns strategically. Why predictability destroys power. Humans are pattern recognition machines. Once people identify your patterns, how you respond to challenges, what provokes you, what makes you happy, they can manage you. Your responses become predictable, and predictable people lose respect. The dangerous aura incorporates strategic unpredictability. Not random chaos, but calculated pattern breaking that keeps others off balance. Sometimes you're warm, sometimes you're cold, sometimes you engage, sometimes you withdraw, sometimes you respond immediately, sometimes you delay days. This doesn't mean being inconsistent in your values or unreliable in your commitments. It means being unpredictable in your tactical responses so that people can't develop a playbook for managing you. The gap between capability and action. The most dangerous aspect of unpredictability is the gap between what people know you're capable of and what they've actually seen you do. If they've never seen you truly angry, they don't know what that looks like, and that uncertainty makes them cautious. Maintain this gap deliberately. Be mostly calm and reasonable, but with just enough edge that people know there's more beneath the surface. Let them wonder about your limits rather than demonstrating them. The imagined threat is always more powerful than the demonstrated one. Law 5. Strategic absence. Scarcity creates value. The power of withdrawal. Constant availability destroys mystique. When you're always there, always responsive, always eager to engage, you become part of the background. The dangerous aura understands that scarcity creates value. This means being selectively available. Not responding to every message immediately, not attending every event, not always being in the mix. When you do appear, your presence carries weight because it's rare rather than guaranteed. Think about the most respected people in any environment. They're rarely the ones who are everywhere all the time. They appear strategically, make their contribution, and withdraw. This creates the impression that their time is valuable because they treat it as valuable. Implementing strategic scarcity. Start by creating gaps in your availability. Don't respond to messages immediately. Take days rather than hours. When invited to events, attend selectively rather than automatically. When in group conversations, contribute less frequently, but with more impact when you do speak. This isn't game playing, it's resource management. Your attention, time, and presence are finite resources that should be allocated strategically rather than distributed indiscriminately. The dangerous aura protects these resources jealously. Law 6. The dangerous gaze. Mastering eye contact. Why eye contact creates dominance. Eye contact is primal dominance behavior. Most people struggle to maintain it for more than a few seconds before looking away. This looking away is a submission signal, an acknowledgement of lower status. The dangerous aura holds eye contact comfortably, even during silence. This creates psychological pressure that most people can't tolerate. They look away, and in that moment, the hierarchy is established without a word being spoken. This isn't staring aggressively or trying to intimidate through intensity. It's calmly maintaining eye contact without discomfort or the need to look away first. You're simply comfortable with direct visual engagement in a way that others aren't. Training the dangerous gaze practice, holding eye contact for progressively longer periods. Start with friendly conversations, then extend to more challenging contexts. The goal is developing genuine comfort with sustained eye contact rather than forcing it artificially. Combined with slow movement and controlled expression, powerful eye contact completes the nonverbal foundation of the dangerous aura. People feel seen, assessed, and slightly unnerved. Exactly the psychological state that generates respect. Law 7. Strategic detachment, never appearing too invested. The psychology of outcome independence. Desperation destroys auras. When people sense you need something, their approval, their attention, their validation, you lose power. The dangerous aura appears outcome independent, as if results matter less than principles. This doesn't mean not caring about outcomes. It means not appearing desperate for them. You pursue goals with intensity, but without visible anxiety about whether they materialize. This creates the impression that you'll be fine either way, which paradoxically makes success more likely. Think about negotiations. The party who appears less invested usually wins because they're willing to walk away. The dangerous aura maintains this psychological position in all interactions. You're engaged, but not desperate. Interested, but not needy. Present, but not clingy. Stop over-explaining why you want things. Stop seeking permission for your choices. Stop trying to convince people of your worth. Simply move forward with your agenda and let others decide whether to come along. When opportunities don't materialize, show minimal visible disappointment. When they do materialize, show minimal visible excitement. This emotional stability signals that your internal state doesn't depend on external circumstances, which is both attractive and intimidating. Law 8. The aura of controlled aggression balancing, warmth and edge. The dangerous aura isn't purely cold, it's strategically warm with an underlying edge. You can be friendly, helpful, even generous, but there's always a sense that crossing you would be a mistake. This combination is more powerful than pure aggression or pure warmth alone. The edge doesn't come from threats or intimidation tactics. It comes from boundaries enforced without explanation, consequences delivered without anger, and standards maintained without compromise. People sense that while you're pleasant to deal with, you're not to be taken advantage of. This balance is crucial. Pure aggression makes you a target. Pure warmth makes you exploitable. The dangerous aura occupies the middle ground where cooperation is rewarded, but exploitation is punished. Set clear boundaries and enforce them immediately when crossed. Don't warn, don't threaten, don't explain, just implement consequences. Someone disrespects you. Distance is created instantly. Someone violates trust. Access is revoked without discussion. This swift boundary enforcement trains others to treat you carefully. They learn that your boundaries are real rather than negotiable, and that testing them carries actual costs. The dangerous aura doesn't need to threaten because the consequences speak for themselves. Building a dangerous aura isn't a technique you apply occasionally. It's a complete restructuring of how you move through the world. It requires developing genuine self-confidence, absolute emotional discipline, strategic thinking, and the willingness to be misunderstood by people who don't operate at your level. The most important insight is this: the dangerous aura isn't about being dangerous to others. It's about being dangerous to exploit, manipulate, or control. You're building psychological armor that protects you while commanding respect from everyone you encounter. In a world full of people desperately seeking approval and validation, the person who needs neither becomes magnetic by default. In an environment dominated by emotional reactivity, the person who maintains composure becomes the reference point for stability. In a society of oversharing and over-explaining, the person who guards their mystery becomes infinitely more interesting. Start implementing these laws today. Speak less, move slower, maintain eye contact longer, control your reactions, be strategically scarce, enforce boundaries without explanation. Build the presence that makes people think twice before testing you, not because you're violent or cruel, but because they instinctively sense you're operating at a level they don't fully understand. The dangerous aura isn't something you wear like a costume. It's something you become through consistent practice until it's simply who you are. And once you reach that point, you'll never chase respect again, because respect will chase you. As Machiavelli understood centuries ago, it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But the modern interpretation is even more powerful. It's better to be respected through controlled presence than to be either purely feared or purely loved. That respect, earned through the dangerous aura, is the ultimate form of social power.